The realm of sports has long been regarded as a space of camaraderie, competition, and excellence. However, beneath the surface of glittering stadiums and roaring crowds lies a darker reality. Instances of dysfunction and cruelty that can tarnish the reputation of even the most celebrated organizations. The Spanish Football Federation stands as an unfortunate example of such dysfunction and cruelty, particularly in its treatment of the Spanish women's football team. Through media outlets and past experiences from different players and staff inside the organization, we'll be talking about the various ways in which the Federation's mismanagement and disregard have led to the abuse and neglect of the women's national team, not only under the leadership of Jorge Vilda, but under the leadership of the President of the Federation, Luis Rubiales. Before heading into Luis Rubiales, we have to go way back into the hiring of women's Spanish coach Jorge Vilda, where all of the chaos in the national team commenced. Jorge Vilda was trusted with leading the golden generation of Spanish women's football as he started his managerial career in 2009. He took on two jobs, the assistant coach for the Spanish U19 women's team and the head coach of the U17s. Across these two teams, he would work with a bunch of young and incredibly talented players, most notably Alexia Putellas, Aitana Bonmati, Nerea Perez, Marta Torrejon, Mariona Caldenati, Patricia Guijarro, and more. Throughout his 5 years with the youth teams, and despite all the great talent at hand, Vilda would only leave with 2 under-17-year-old gold medals to show for it. This is a stat that still stands to this day, as he has yet to win any other major title, 14 years later into his career, until today. In August of 2015, Jorge Vilda was officially appointed as the head coach of Spain's women's national team. Already at that stage, many questioned this decision from the Federation, as Vilda was still relatively unproven, while the Spain team he was now taking over were shaping up to become one of the best national teams in the world of women's football. But sadly, that never came to life in the way many Spain fans hoped. After 3 incredibly disappointing tournaments and a whole heap of other issues that we'll get deeper into as we go, it would become clear that the playing squad was far from pleased with Jorge Vilda and the rest of the coaching staff. Not only because of his lackluster tactics and coaching style, but a lot of his decision and behavior will also leave a very bad taste. This resulted in the 3 captains, Alexia Putellas, Irene Paredes, and Patrick Guijarro, trying to resolve said issues behind the scenes and away from the spotlight with a private, formal complaint to the Spanish Federation. Some of the complaints were lack of privacy, lack of rest, lack of medical assistance, lack of nutritionists, lack of match analysis and tactical understanding, and low quality training sessions. Despite the seriousness of the whole complaints, the squad wouldn't even get a proper response from the Football Federation, sadly. Weeks would go by with no real answers, no action taken, and no changes made internally by the Federation. They practically ignored all of it. This would not only stay as a private matter for long though, as despite their inability to give the players a clear answer privately, the Federation had no problem making a big public statement about the situation where they expressed their full support towards Jorge Vilda. To add insult to injury, the Spanish FA had the nerve to say that the players should recognize their mistakes and ask for good forgiveness if they wanted to come back to the national team. Vilda also stated this is an embarrassment and only I want players who are 100% committed to my project. If you don't value what it means to wear this shirt and represent your country, you don't deserve to be with us at all. After the words from Vilda and the Federation, the players were being labeled as blackmailers by certain fans and media alike. Many of the players had simply had enough, and on the 23rd of September 2022, 15 Spanish national team players posted an open letter to the Federation. This letter would result in many of the players being excluded from the Spanish national team squad, with some still refusing to play for them to this day. Some of the players later returned to national team duty as certain things had been made by the Spanish FA, but Jorge Vilda still stayed strong in the position as the head coach. As to those who did return, it's clear that the situation is still far from ideal, and rather it's just a temporary solution to be able to play the Women's World Cup. This whole story goes way beyond just who he is as a coach though, as he simply doesn't treat his players with the respect and professionally they deserve. He also doesn't act in the best interest of the team when looking at many other things he does, or rather doesn't do. The Federation definitely deserves their fair share of criticism as well though, which is where Luis Rubiales comes in. If you haven't heard of him, you will now, as he is the talk of the town with the recent allegation of sexual assault after the Spanish women's team won the World Cup these past few weeks. Following Spain's victory over England in the Women's World Cup final, Rubiales was seen kissing Jennifer Hermoso on the lips as she collected her winner's medal. Hermoso expressed her discomfort with the incident, sparking a chain of events that will have brought the Federation under scrutiny. The focal point of the controversy lies in Rubiales' act of kissing Hermosa on the lips after the Women's World Cup final victory over England. Hermosa voiced her discomfort with the incident, stating that she didn't like or expect the kiss. Rubiales later admitted to making a mistake, but his response failed to appease the growing criticism. The incident was deemed inappropriate and sparked condemnation from the football community and even some Spanish politicians, including Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. The situation escalated when Rubiales, during the Federation's Extraordinary General Assembly, gave a defiant speech, firmly stating that he would not resign despite the mounting criticism. This stance only intensified the backlash against him. The controversy not only centered on the incident itself, but also on Rubiales' response, indicating a lack of accountability for his actions. The controversy took another turn when players from the Spanish women's national team issued a statement in response to Rubiales' actions and subsequent behavior. The players expressed their support for Jennifer Hermoso and condemned the incident as unacceptable. They also revealed their decision to not make themselves available for national team selection as long as the current leadership, represented by Rubiales, remained in place. Players like Jorge Vilda expressed their refusal to play for the national team until there were changes in leadership as well. Besides the players, Spain's acting second deputy prime minister Yolanda Díaz called for Rubiales' resignation, further emphasizing the demand for accountability and change. And if this isn't already getting out of hand, recently too, Rubiales' mother has locked herself inside the Divine Shepherds, a church in Rubiales' hometown of Madrid, Spain, in a hunger strike seen as a show of support for her son amidst mounting calls for his resignation. What could have been a great, wonderful triumph for Spain has been a nightmare because of its own federation. And if this doesn't stop, UEFA president has been in regular contact with FIFA and, given that the Rubiales incident took place at the World Cup under FIFA jurisdiction, FIFA will deal with it accordingly. Had the Spanish Federation been successful in getting UEFA membership suspended, it would have resulted in the expulsion of all Spanish clubs from UEFA competition this season, as well as the men's national team from ongoing Euro 2024 qualifiers, which also means Barcelona can't defend their Women's Champions League title, and Real Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Real Sociedad, and Atletico Madrid would have been expelled from the men's competition. But what started as a simple kiss has ruined many families, lives, and even leagues and future games. If Rubiales meant what he did as more of a kiss, and the women's team is in line about the treatment and sexual assault, he should step down. Not only for his reputation, but for the future of the federation, leagues, and the country as a whole. Spain is waiting for him to step down, but let's see what happens in the next few weeks. Spain's women's team should be celebrated and talked about by the whole media on how they defeated many favorites along the way, but instead has been overshadowed completely by the allegations and the federation's lack of love and honesty. What do you think? Leave down below in the comments what you think of this whole situation and what could be done for the future of football, especially women's football.